Hello, welcome to our informative video today. If you are watching this, then you probably either came across it somewhere or you were referred here by hopefully an HWCA certified coach or holistic gut practitioner coach. So I'm Coach Britt. I am the founding educator for the Holistic Wellness Coaching Academy. We are AADP accredited. We are a health coach training and education school focused on gut health from a holistic all-encompassing aspect, and we are focused on the brain-gut connection and maximizing all areas for wellness. And so if you're here, you've probably been referred here because you have met one of our certified coaches. At the end of this quick video, I'm going to try and make this information as quick as possible. I know you guys are busy, but at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some information on how you can contact me to vet our coaches, to make sure that someone presenting themselves to you is an HWCA trained and certified health coach. Okay, so I'm Coach Britt. I'm the author of Buddha Belly, a mind, body, soul approach to health, starting with your gut. I also have the Buddha Belly Life podcast. If you haven't checked it out, do. Some of you practitioners may have even been on it. And you can check out our coaches at HWCAcoach.com, or you can get there through Gut Health School because we are the #1 school for gut health and the brain-gut connection. So anyways, our coaches, I'm going to tell you a little bit about their training. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our school so you understand their background. I'll go into a little bit about what they specifically are able to do, their skill sets, while staying within their scope of practice, right? That's important. And then I'm going to talk about kind of our mission with our coaches, why our coaches are changing the whole trajectory of the coaching world and bridging the gap between practitioner and client, and why they're providing essential roles in health businesses and wellness-based practices. We're going to talk about kind of what that could mean for you, the potential arrangements that you could provide to your client base or that you could make with a coach, and also then our contact info, how you can check out more of what we do and vet your referral coach, or the coach that you have met, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our training. So coaches that have gone through our training, we do not train people who are very green in the health aspect, okay? So we aren't going to be the school that they go to if they're learning to read nutrition labels or what are whole foods or a few dietary theories, okay? That's not what our school does. What we do is we touch on we follow a gut-centered approach to health and nutrition. And when we say holistic gut health, the way that we train our coaches is that while we do discuss a lot about gut-specific nutrition and how to support the gut ecosystem, because let's face it, it's connected to all areas of health, to skin, to brain health and function, to mental health, to disease and inflammation and almost everything under the sun, right? So while that is really important and diet is a huge factor, which is why we cover gut-specific dietary strategies, we also know that real health and even the health of the gut is also all-encompassing. It's mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And so it's important for us to know how the body responds, especially the gut and the gut brain, to things like stress and past trauma and all that, without stepping outside of our scope of practice into the counselor's role or the doctor's role, etc., right? But to understand this, our approach is different. Our coach's approach is different. So when we're teaching them, they go through what we call a conceptual understanding of gut health. This allows them to articulate well to the audience that they are teaching or their client, and explain what gut health is and why it's so important and how maybe it pertains to them, that it is not just about digestive problems and complaints and symptoms, right? It's things like mental health, brain fog, it's things like skin issues, it's things like different, like I said, cognition issues and inflammation and an array of things, arthritis and body pain. Okay, the gut is the center for so much, and there's a lot of things that are going on that a lot of the people we're working with don't even know that they are struggling with. So this one-on-one training that they have, it allows them to re-articulate that. It allows them to give a conceptual understanding of gut health to more layman's terms, to the audience in front of them, and allows them to know and realize how much it pertains to them and why they need it. Okay, after that, they're trained a bit in the bacteria, the science of gut bacteria. So this is how different gut bacteria and microorganisms actually affect different aspects of the body and of wellness. We go on then to the brain-gut connection, which is my favorite, and we break this down into 2 components. So we go gut to brain and brain to gut. And why we do this is even though we know that this is a synergistic relationship, we can't even say which comes first, the chicken or the egg, because that pertains to each individual. That is individualized to each person that you're ever going to see. But why we break it up like this is because it allows the coaches, and therefore, the people that they're working with, to really understand the impact of both. So we know that the gut massively impacts the brain, but do we really understand how much the brain, thoughts, trauma, stress actually impact the body and the gut specifically? No, so we break it up like that. So they're going through this excellent training to understand how multifaceted health is, specifically gut health. Then they go through protocol training, and we have a 5-week protocol that we train our coaches in. Now, while this is laid out very specifically, it is very flexible because everyone knows there's no one size fits all to any person. But we need a framework. We need a foundation to start with people. We need to be able to start somewhere, right? Or else we end up giving them very generic recommendations. We end up saying things like, just try the GAPS diet or this or that, right? Because we don't understand how to actually help them individualize their experience and listen and learn their body. So this protocol, you guys, is a removal. We call it an eliminate and focus regimen, but it also incorporates holistic aspects of health. Mindset work, self-introspection, actually talking to the body. Believe it or not, we've seen this have a massive impact over our clients and the people we've worked with. It also incorporates, the biggest part of going through this process with people is the data. So you're teaching them about their own body, you're empowering them with education, but you're also allowing them to understand and read the data that their body is speaking. And this allows the client to better articulate to the practitioner or to anyone that they are working with what they are experiencing, so that we can better assist them and that they can better assist themselves and understand why they do the things they do, instead of just coming to you and asking for you to tell them what to do, right? Or give them a pill or even an herb or a potion or anything that's just going to fix all their problems, because we know as holistic providers, we know that it goes so far beyond that, right? So our coaches are trained in this 5-week protocol and how to help individualize it. They can do this with groups, they can do this with individuals, they can do it in online programs and hands-off as well. And then they go through obviously business development, and they actually participate in a live interactive where they are paid for a beta test run through that we run as a group. And now I help them run this process, and so I'm helping lead them through so that they don't feel like they're just thrown to the wolves. It's one thing to understand it all in your brain, it's another thing to apply it. And we are really big about being an application-based program. This means that we keep our coaches learning and applying education. So not just learning what they do, but actually applying it. So teaching as they learn, teaching what they're applying. We also teach them to go out and actually work with people. So we're helping them apply the information, because once those training wheels get off the bike, once they feel that momentum and they feel how to actually do it, then all of a sudden they're more comfortable doing this with everyone else. So that's what our coaches have gone through. They have access constantly to our closed groups, to our monthly membership community, where we learn a new concept of health every single month. We focus in on something, like pretty soon we're going to cover the liver gut axis, things like that. We've studied inflammation and inflammatory markers and disease and things like that. So each month they're learning a new concept if they're a member coach, and they're continuing their education. They're also meeting for masterminds and still maintaining relationship with the school and with the coaches. So this is what our coaches are trained in. Now, like I said specifically, so this is what they do. So our coaches are usually self-branded, self-employed, but trained in our trademarked program, which is the Buddha Belly 5-week gut restoration protocol. So this is a foundational protocol for clients. Okay, and what it allows them to do is, like I said, walk people through a 5-week approach to really setting a foundation of health and gaining all the data so that they continue to set the foundations of health. They're going to discover what it is we go through a process of removing a lot of common gut irritating foods. Now, these aren't always highly allergenic foods for every person, but they're definitely known to be hard on the digestive process, because if we can give the gut a rest for a minute, then we can decipher, right? We got to simplify the stuff coming in the body before we can identify a lot of the things that are causing it havoc, Okay, so we help them go through this process. And while they're doing that, the coach, if they're putting someone through this protocol, then the client has access to this online course as well. So they're learning, and the book, right? So if you're gonna see this book, there's gonna be a new cover here pretty soon. Sorry, let it focus there. There's gonna be a new cover. It's gonna be much more gender neutral now, coming out in 2023. But they're able to read about it, they're able to learn, they're able to empower their own knowledge, have food lists, have recipe options, have group access and things like that, while also having the coach guide them. So they're not just waiting for someone to tell them what to do. They were empowered in their own education. Okay, and so our coaches are trained in coaching people, but empowering their own knowledge in the journey, which makes the client more successful, and it makes the process so much more successful. Okay, so this is what our coaches are able to do. Many of them have access to clinical grade supplementations or supplements, microbiome labs, and gut stool testing through BiomeFX. Now, if you're a practitioner, this could be a conflict of interest. If in your facility, you might say, hey, I already have my own supplement line, or maybe I'd like to bring in that line and make the profit. That's awesome. That is all up for negotiation between you and the coach that you're working with. Okay, so what our coaches are doing is they're helping bridge the gap, because more often than not, what we see is this is a typical scenario. So think about it. Is this your scenario? A client comes in and they have XYZ ailments. Now you as the holistic provider, you understand the dietary component, you understand the lifestyle component, the stress component, the trauma components, you understand how all this plays, okay? And you're trying to help them from a functional aspect of wellness. You're trying to look at them as a whole person and help them, right? And so maybe you pull the blood work and you make some recommendation. Maybe you send them away with some supplements and some herbs and some things, okay? But now what? All right, usually there's a lot of lifestyle change that needs to happen. There's a lot of internal dialogue and things going on in these people that inhibits the lifestyle change. It's not just the lack of knowledge, right? So they're going home with all of that. And so what I'll hear a lot of providers do is, like I said before, suggest, oh, well, you need to work on your gut. Try the GAPS diet, try low FODMAP, try this or that, right? And they just kind of reference a generic diet and send someone on their way. Now this person is trying to just follow dietary guidelines. They're not empowered in what they're doing. They don't have a full, really good understanding or education as to why and what and how to hear their body, so that they can get farther in this process, and so that they can want to be in this process for themselves, right? And so the problem with that is that now the practitioner sees only so much results, right? Now the holistic provider is doing a lot of almost like the atypical medical community is doing, where we're kind of trying to naturally help symptoms, right? Help get people, support people as much as we can and as natural as possible, and hope that maybe they take on something. So what this does is this kind of degrades the foundation of why we got into functional wellness and holistic health, right? We got there to empower people into a better state completely. An ideal practice very rarely sees the same people over and over again. An ideal practice would graduate people into a better state of health and see them much less frequently, and bring in a new crowd of people that are needing that, and with the potential of cultivating those people into their own health, and then letting the birdies fly and be on their way, right? That's a goal for a coach, and I'm willing to bet that's a goal for most holistic providers. So what's cool is about a relationship with a trusted coach is that we can provide that cultivation for clients with the skill sets that we offer. Now, I know that this can be kind of creepy liability-wise. You never know. If you hire just a health coach to come in, we don't know, right? You don't know what they're going to do, and these are your clients. This is your business you're talking about. So that's why our coaches are very, very transparent about what they're working with, and they have multiple options of things that they can do. So they're able to do educational classes. They're able to run these 5-week gut restoration programs. I have coaches that work with practitioners that just run programs a few times a year for a group of clients, right? I have other coaches that work in-house with practitioners. I have some that are even employed by practitioners, and others who share space and share rent and have a mutual arrangement. So you as a provider, if this is your business, you have the right, and you should lay out the foundation that makes you comfortable legality-wise and technically for any relationship you even think about with a coach. But your coach should be offering you, and they likely will, if they're from us, they'll be offering you a variety of options. So here's just a few I'm going to throw out for you guys. So we have coaches, like I said, who do group gut restoration protocols. Okay, so they'll do a class for you. They're more often than not, they'll come in and they'll do a gut 101 class for free for your client base. And this is how they help educate the client base to understand how they'll benefit from these things, okay, and from these services, and from working on their gut in a holistic manner. Okay, so they'll come in and they'll do a class like that, and then they can set a date and they can enroll people, and they will set them up in the course. And this is a 5-week process. These clients will get a book mailed to their door. If they're enrolled in this course, they'll get a book mailed to their door, and they'll get instant portal access where they can follow along and understand why each phase of the program is happening. They can access a group community, which a lot of people are lacking. We know how powerful community is. They can access a group community to help along their journey, for support, for questions, for more education, all of that, okay? And it's all online, so it's all really easy wherever they are. Okay, so they'll be able to access this. So some of the coaches can come in and they can run programs for you. Maybe they run it once and you decide if it suits your business. Maybe they run it multiple times a year. Maybe you like the way this is going, and maybe you and the coach have a great fit together and you guys collab in a facility together. Maybe you employ a coach. Okay, these are all options and ways that our coaches are working with practitioners. Our goal for 2023 from here on out is to be the school that is known for kicking out coaches who are the most trusted sources for health and wellness professionals and practitioners, that bridge the gap between practitioner and client and help cultivate wellness in our clients and successfully integrate them and cultivate them and send these birdies off to fly so that they can have better health overall, okay? And you can have a thriving practice. What this means for the practice is it means that now you are known as the naturopath, the chiropractor, the doctor, the psychologist, maybe the skincare professional, whatever you are known as the person that gets results, that helps people fly instead of just tends to their wounds and band-aids the symptoms, which is completely opposite of what holistic health is, right? We know that. And do you find yourself stuck in that rut of band-aiding symptoms? Sometimes, okay? So this is where our coaches come in. So if you're sent this, I promise you are probably with one of our trusted, amazing HWCA graduates. Please ask them to furnish a physical sample of their certification for you. You can also vet them directly. You can email us at the school. You can get there by going to HWCAcoach.com. Guthealthschool.com is the short way. That's easy to remember. And you can email us through there. You can go Brittany, it's BRITTNEY, at HWCAcoach.com. Please inquire, vet your coach, talk about this relationship. Feel free. We are taking wellness and the coaching practitioner relationship to a whole new level in 2023. It's absolutely, and beyond, okay? It's time that we start helping people thrive and teaching them that they are actually their own best practitioner. Because if you can do that, then you will be a key component of what absolutely changes their life. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this today. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions and contact your coach.